Hey, this is a MovieJar podcast where we review movies and give them a cookie at the end. I'm Chris.
I'm Alex and I'm going through eternal suffering.
Yeah.
I'm Kaya and I am sick at the moment, so I apologize if my voice sounds fucky.
I'm Cameron, and the eternal suffering extends to me as well.
Yeah, we're all kind of
Yippee!
shitty right now. So,
This
it's
one
gonna
will
be a
be
review.
this is great because this is like a very fun movie, but we are all just in like perpetual pain. So we do apologize, you know, if the vibes are brought down. We've just had like a 20-minute wine session, which has been very. We're not talking wine as in alcohol. We're talking wine as in wah wah
I'm
wah.
God, I
Hell,
wish.
where the
God, I
hell?
wish.
Alright, Chris, introduce our movie today.
All right. Basic synopsis and also title drop. They cloned Tyrone.
Title
It is.
drop.
Was it? When was it released? 2020?
2023,
2013.
last year.
2023.
2023. Yeah, no.
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, a recent title. It's basically about a storyline of they're in a town. There's this guy called Tyrone. Actually,
No, it's not.
Fontaine.
Fontaine.
no, it's
Name was
not.
Chris
Fontaine.
just watched this movie.
Fontaine. Fontaine. I don't know why the title is Tyrone.
It
Uh,
mentions
Because
it at
it's,
the
uh,
end.
because it's at the end. He says, "Ain't that you, Tyrone?" And it's the clone of Fontaine.
why do they call him Tyrone?
Because it's a
Because
different
it's
character, Chris.
no, I actually know why they did it, but I'll go into it later.
Wait, so
They called him
okay,
Tyrone.
now I
They
get it.
keep
Because I
keep
thought
going.
that they moved to Memphis, and I thought that was Memphis. So I
No, that
thought
was
that was
Los
Fontaine.
Angeles.
I thought it was New
Well,
Orleans
anyway,
at first.
What the
Because
fuck
Anyway,
is in America?
continue with the synopsis, Chris.
so basically, um, there's this whole weird shit situation where what's never mind. Basically, CIA bullshit underneath the city, and it's like doing crazy shit. Um, they as the movie goes on, don't worry about it. As the movie goes on, they find some sort of laboratory, and hijinks ensue from there on. I won't spoil anything more than that.
no,
Yeah, go
Chris,
watch
the
Uh,
the
entire point of
movie.
the podcast is that we spoil it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, okay, no,
go.
the spoiler barrier is ending now. Please go watch They Cloned Tyrone. It's best movie of 2023.
Tyrone
Peak.
dies.
Peak. No. No.
I mean,
Fontaine dies. Spoiler alert.
I
Well,
mean,
technically, yes.
Ship of Theseus.
All the
Ship of
fucking time. Yeah, he
Theseus.
dies like what, four
It's still a
times?
mystery. Ship of Theseus. All you need to know.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
you're
actually,
fucking
that's
right.
actually a pretty good
I'll be
description.
honest,
Now,
Yeah,
I took barely any notes for this movie because this was Thursday
same.
night. I had slept for about 16 hours all up, and
Don't
I was
worry.
high on cough medicine. So, like, I didn't take many notes. I
Do
remember
not
the movie,
worry.
but, like, I wasn't
I
thinking very
I
critically.
do not worry. I was thinking critically. I watched this film on Anzac Day because I wanted a break day because I work so hard. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna go watch a movie that I saw a trailer of on YouTube. If you don't know, for people of the podcast, um, I was the one who got Chris to put this on his list because I randomly remembered this movie.
was
I
under
saw
duress
Troy.
at the time.
It was under duress. I was holding Chris at gunpoint.
That
Um,
was that was just a large shotgun at the back of my head. That was like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
oh
whole time. But uh, it was a very interesting movie to me because I'd never heard of the director. I love John Boyega. Jamie Foxx is funny.
Oh, Jamie
Um,
Foxx.
Oh my god,
oh
Jamie
God, I love
Foxx.
him. And Taylor Paris, I also love her. And I legitimately, I got some idea of what the plot was, but I didn't know where it was going. And so I was very curious, and I sat down on the couch. I got my popcorn. It was burnt. I finished it 10 minutes in the film. Um, and I had a wild ride of a time, and I spent a bit of yesterday listening to like some videos of the director speaking on the film. So I actually thought I'd take the role of Kaya in this one. If you're not catching the trend of the last three podcasts, Kaya's the one that takes notes and has like little fun trivia.
Yeah. Yeah, I was way too sick to care. Also, if I like randomly mute, that's me muting to cough. So,
Yeah, we're saving you. We're saving you Kaya's ailment. Chris, what would you rate the movie out of 10?
I mean, good film, but I saw most of everything coming, to be honest. So I'd say 7.5. If I was like fresh to some of the tropes, I'd put it at like an 8.5 and a 9. But yeah, good movie. I'd recommend seeing. Um, Not much else to say there.
What about you, Cameron?
You guys are gonna. I don't know how controversial this will be, but I think I may give this. I'm gonna keep it moderate, just in case something else comes along.
What do you mean?
9.5.
Okay.
Oh hell yeah, that's my
I
opinion.
was like, what
9.5
the?
as well.
I'm like, where are you going with this?
No, I didn't take many notes. This time I actually sat down with my notebook ready to take notes, and I couldn't because I was just so hooked
So was
that my
I.
my attention was so directed to everything in the film, every small detail, that I didn't have the time to take notes. So
Okay, we're gonna save you. Kyle, what would you rate the film out of 10 of what you remember?
um,
It's okay if you didn't like it.
no, I did like it. I did like it. I think it's probably like an 8.5 for me. I still really enjoyed it. It's just like it's a little bit out of my general viewing, so I don't
That's
know,
fair.
but I liked it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn good. I liked like even though I was really sick, I did like see like the the obvious like metaphors and stuff in it, and
mm,
allegories and stuff.
Yeah. This
The
is
ones that are like
it's
punching you in the
it's
face, racism.
well, see, it wasn't just that. It's like as Jill Taylor said. I was listening to an interview Jill Taylor did with New Rock Stars of all people, and apparently the guy, the New Rock Stars guy. Look up New Rock Stars guy. You'll see him. Apparently he actually went to college with Jill Taylor, the director. So they got an interview, and apparently one of the original pitches for this film was, yeah, what if we took MK Ultra and made it MK Opera? And so he sat down with a bunch of the writers, and they made like a fake SCP dossier, basically, or like in the font and everything of all of the stuff that this organization would have been up to since like MK Ultra if it never got disbanded. And so apparently part of the pitch was that they had this whole fictional like CIA plus thing that they handed to the actors as part of the original pitch.
That's
So
fucking cool.
yeah, there's a lot of small details in this film. You know what, fuck it, Cameron. You said 9.5. I was gonna go for a 9.5, but I crave being different. This movie's a 10.
no, I have to give it a 10 then. I'm I was lying.
Look, I'll be
We
real.
could
This
go
is
with a
this.
9.6, and it was just gonna be like 9.6.1.
I was in love with this film the moment I saw it because look, it's gonna sound really weird, and it's gonna sound like a really obvious thing to like in films. But I like it when my films have colors, colors beyond my wild imagination, right? I like it. I like the neon lights that are purple in contrast to yellow walls and a deep, sort of bluish dark night.
Oh, I
I
have
love the
words to say about the
cinematography.
lighting. The lighting was
Oh
amazing.
my
I am
god, I
an I
love,
am a
I love.
lighting nerd. Like I went to a rock concert the other weekend, and like pretty much about half of the time I was there, I was just nerding out over the lighting of the different band sets. Like the entirety of Sleep Token's set, I'm like, oh my god, the lighting. Don't care about the
I
music, but
fucking
the lighting, man.
fucking loved the fact that that even though it's meant to be like a ghetto, it's meant to be like the height of poverty within America, they still gave the environment life and color. I liked how the Got Drank store had like this obnoxious yellow. I loved how
I,
I just loved the colors, and I loved Slick Charles.
Oh my god,
oh,
Slick
Um,
Charles,
Slick
incredibly
Charles is so
based.
Oh my god, he is one of peak characters in fiction. I loved this film. I was expecting to go into this film to like it ironically, because it's called They Cloned Tyrone.
Same.
I came out of this film, like, thoroughly convinced. And I'll answer a question Chris had this earlier about, like, why is it called They Cloned Tyrone? when the main character is Fontaine and Tyrone doesn't show up till the actual end of the film? The reason
That's
is,
a lost line.
Is he the
the reason
original?
is, no, not at all. He's a clone. The reason is because the director sort of was taking some notes out of blaxploitation films of like I think it was the 80s, I'm not sure. But if you just look
80s,
up Black
90s.
Dynamite,
It'd be
yeah,
the
80s, 90s,
80s because that's what it's meant to look like. Like a lot of the fashion, the graininess, it's meant to look like
yeah.
70s, 80s.
Yeah, and the thing is that the reason why they wanted a character named Tyrone is because it's noted in a lot of when black film analysis do this that there's an alarming amount of black men in media who are called Tyrone. Um, and so um, they wanted to actually have they wanted to have the movie be sort of a play on that of like, oh yeah, well, we'll have this character named Tyrone, but no one will really know who Tyrone is till the end. Like, you know that guy Frog who was sitting outside the gas station, who was
Yeah.
sitting outside the drink
Peak.
store?
Oh
He
my
was
god, Peak.
originally going to be Tyrone. He was one of the people they were like, he's gonna be Tyrone, and they're gonna be like, oh wait, Frog, what's your actual name? It's like Tyrone. He
That's
was
what I
gonna
was
be,
expecting.
yeah,
But
but
they never did it.
No,
yeah,
I was just like waiting, and then they like went to a different city. I'm like, and they showed the new guy. I'm like, oh, this has to be Tyrone.
I bet you made about 17 guesses before then, and just
No,
random
I
people.
actually didn't.
Order
I
of
think like
elimination.
my only guess was that Fontaine was a nickname and that his actual like legal name was Tyrone. That was my only other guess.
hmm. But I absolutely adored this film. It scratched every itch in my brain. It's so deep with subtext. Like, I'll bring up my favorite bit of trivia from this film. You know how in the nightclub scene, when they've got the mind control music going on, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh yeah, go attack, go get 'em," right? Now,
Mhm.
here's the thing. On the bass line of those songs is inaudible Morse code that's playing whilst the song is playing. That's when they're running after the people, it says subdue them, capture them over and over, right? In like inaudible Morse code to the human ear. And then on when they're standing around them, the bass line of the song is uh like stay put or wait for person in charge.
What the
That's kind of
fuck?
fucking sick.
Yeah, and they put in so many references to like other pieces of
Okay.
media. Like one of them they put in a reference to was like how Nixon, the evil white dude that Kiefer Sunderland played, who oh
Yeah.
god, he was barely any screen time. Loved that
Is he
character.
called Nixon because of Richard Nixon?
Yes, because
Probably.
that's why they were referencing Watergate
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
in
what
the
I
end.
assumed. That's what I assumed.
yeah, and then his whole thing is basically a reference to Hollow Man, the movie that they actually referenced in the film. There were
So
Hollow
references to
Man.
there was references to Cameron probably knows more about this than I do. A Brave New World.
yeah.
Um, yeah, there
There was a
was a ton
reference
of
to Doctor Strangelove in there,
yeah.
which
Um,
was oh my god.
but the movie is also rich in subtext. Although I do find it funny that the code name Olympia Black isn't actually a reference to anything, despite the fact that when the movie came out, people were like, "Oh, is this a reference to like the writer Olympia Black?" They were like, "Ah, shit, we actually didn't know about that. No, we just chose it because it sounded cool."
Yeah.
Like the
I
pure
mean, it's a
phonetics of it.
completely like it's a no one would ever say that.
Hmm. But Chris, what's some further thoughts you had on the film?
Um, I I can't really say that much, to be honest. Unlike I just don't feel as though I was as hooked. I
Okay.
I don't know why. It's probably because it's just been like a day for me, so it's like all been a bit of a haze, and I came into this not knowing that much aside from this is probably going to be like a CIA sort of like MK Ultra thing. Um, yeah, that's pretty much
Fair
it.
enough.
Very thoughtful.
I mean, Chris, you're not like a minority here. On IMDb, it only got a 6.6 out of 10. The
Yeah, it's not a
average,
film
the
for
the
everyone.
average is 6.6,
Yeah,
Rotten
true. I
Tomatoes,
which
still
like
is
critics, was a
seven.
93.
I still,
really
Mm-hmm.
I still
wow.
think
With over
this is a
100
Oh yeah,
reviews.
95, 95 on Rotten Tomatoes and 74 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
this is
This
seven
is a
point five,
very
8.5, maybe 9, in my opinion.
That's a
So that's
very
the range I give it.
large range there.
no, I can understand. I feel like it,
7.59
Yeah.
is. I think that's a fair score. Just as a base level rating.
8.25.
8.253. I beat you, Alex.
recurring.
I
Uh,
mean, that's fair. It's definitely a film for everyone. Um,
no, I still enjoyed the film significantly. I just don't have a robust opinion on it.
Fair enough.
It maybe I'm just contextually blind, but yeah.
I mean, the context of the film was, I thought actually, I'm a sucker for films about like that are character studies. You'd wake up in the night going character study, character study, character study. Um, but like, I really loved how this film, with nuance and empathy, uh, examined the conditions of why people turn to things like being a drug dealer or a pimp or being a sex worker. Yo, my beloved.
Oh,
Oh my,
Yo-Yo, best character. Best fucking character.
I
Andrew
have
right
to
there.
give. I'll give my cookie later,
My
and that's
cookie is
and
also the Yo-Yo.
yeah.
But I really did like how it didn't hold back because I know a lot of things Captain American Wood Soldier like to hold back on like the criticism towards like American governmental systems, and I'm your card-carrying leftist of this podcast, all right? You know, I get paid in Soros bucks every second week. But I really liked the level of depth they went into uh, when it came to things. Like I think there was references to the Tuskegee experiment, which is where they, for viewers who don't know, look it up. There's more information, but a brief summary. During the period of 1932 to 1975, they would give quote unquote vaccines to um, black people in neighborhoods, and they would claim that it was a vaccine, but in actuality, it was syphilis, like just syphilis in a syringe, and then they would give it to them, and they would just see what happened, and they did that for like 43 years.
There's a reason why a lot of POC in America do not trust vaccines, especially if they're given out for free by the government. Even like now, like immigrant families, there's a fucking reason. And it's this.
Mm,
Well, this is one of the
It,
reasons.
this is also one of it. This experiment was one of the main things when the polio vaccine was coming out that people who were against the polio vaccine saying it caused autism referenced.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it addresses like serious issues, and I like how the film addressed like weaponized gentrification, like how people, minorities, particularly in poverty, um, are like minorities, particularly in poverty, are kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, where it's either they are forced into gentrification and assimilation, and it's like, oh yeah, if we had you guys disappear, there'd be 3 Starbucks on the corner. Real. There's so many Starbucks in South Bank, and
There's two fucking Starbucks in South Bank.
And they're
yeah,
not
And
far. They're like down
there's
the street
two in
from
the
each other.
city as well that are also like down the street from each other. They're both on
Yeah.
like they're like
Uh,
500 meters away.
or they forced to embrace things that are made by white companies, like music and culture that encourages things uh, that sort of encourage the poverty that they're in. and I thought I listened to a couple video essays on that, and I thought it was interesting. I also liked the point that hair was the hardest thing to get out because it's been a lot of topic in social discourse about like POC hair, and like
Especially in video game representation of POCs. There's a
mm,
certain cut.
the Killmonger dreads.
Yeah,
I
fucking
have,
Killmonger threads.
yeah, there's I definitely have some things about like how hair, like when I used to work at Macca's, one of my coworkers was an international student from Nigeria. Um,
Oh,
and even like she worked the overnight shifts with me, and fucking loved her. She was amazing. Bless up, Zuriel. I don't think you're watching, but I love you, honey. Um, but like even in like Australia, people were like questioning like, oh, why do you have your hair braided and stuff like that, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like
Yeah,
the when I first heard the straighter is better, I was like, you're shitting me, right? Like in the movie, I'm like, what the fuck? That's fucked up,
I
man.
mean, I mean, look, the fact that Slick Charles thinks that 9/11 was a conspiracy. Um,
Incredibly based.
Same with the
okay.
Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
Slick Charles
That
is
was
so
one of my
based.
notes. I'm not joking.
Slick Charles is such a good character because on topic of humor in this film, oh god, I could gush about this film for ages. But on topic of humor in this film, I loved Teyonah Parris's and Jamie Foxx's like chemistry,
Oh
and
my
I loved
god.
the fact that they pulled off like the like bickering characters, and it didn't feel like an MCU film for once. It was
Yeah.
actually funny.
Which is also funny because Teyonah Paris is in the MCU.
She's wasted
Is
in
she?
the MCU
She's in WandaVision
and Marvel.
and the Marvels.
Who does
She's
she
the daughter
play?
of the chick who was friends with Captain Marvel. I don't remember her name.
Okay, so that's three chains of relationships for a movie that I haven't seen. I'm not gonna know the character.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Wait. Hang on a minute. Jamie Foxx is in. Is he in him? He is
Okay,
every
technically,
single. Wait a
no.
minute. Wait a minute.
No. Jamie Foxx is not in the MCU, I
Yes,
don't
he
think.
is. He's in No Way Home. He's in Spider-Man.
He is.
Oh,
That counts.
He's in No
oh
Way
yeah,
Home.
he is.
2 out of the 3 main characters are in Marvel,
John Boyega,
and
please no.
the other is in Star Wars.
Wait,
I'm looking at his filmography. John is not in.
he's
John Boyega
Finn?
is not in Marvel.
Yeah, John Boyega is Finn.
I actually repressed those movies. I didn't even. I didn't even. God, him
Who's
with
your
a
favorite
beard looks.
character, Chris?
He looks so different. Oh my god.
The old man. Fuck it.
Frog.
Frog,
Fucking
Pog.
love Frog.
the one who was like the one who most likely was experimented on.
Yeah.
The poor man.
Just chill. And
Wait, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, and you know how he says you got that new car smell to you, young
Yeah.
blood from
Yeah,
after
because
he
because he
dies?
was a new one. I did
Yeah.
notice that.
See, this thing has so many layers. This is why it's the GOAT.
Also,
The
I just want to
I-
add a little side note, but like this is completely fucking irrelevant to the film whatsoever. But like Teyonah Paris with that green lip color, hot. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
moving on.
Well, speaking of Teyonah Parris,
God, she was amazing. Holy
speaking
shit.
speaking of Yo-Yo, this movie is really good because it takes the trope or the horrible stereotype slash trope of the sexy lamp and completely does the inverse. Oh my god.
I will say this was a it is as Chris says, this is a very tropey film, but I think it's one where it does the tropes so right you can't help but have fun, and it also subverts it knows when to go along with trope lines and add a little bit of fun, but it also knows when to subvert them. I loved Yo-Yo. I had such a hard time picking between Yo-Yo and Slick Charles for who I wanted to give a
I mean
cookie.
they it's frustrating because they work so well together.
Oh my god.
Also,
Like-
I love
another
Slick
thing about
Charles.
Yo-Yo was that, and like foreshadowing, was sort of near the beginning of the film. Slick Charles says to her like something about like her wig, like, and then
Yes.
they actually
Oh my
follow through
god.
with it at the end where she takes her wig. I'm like, yes.
I like the fact that I like the fact that they already established that she's good at acting because, you know, she's a sex worker. They have to, their whole job is basically acting for people who, you know, sex workers deserve so much more, man. Like
Yeah.
bus drivers. But like,
Yeah.
but like, I love the fact that they utilized all of her skills. How she's just trying to get into uni. Like, there's so many
She's just Nancy
films.
Drew, man.
She's just Nancy Drew, and she just wants to get out of the trap, and she wants to do something more with her life. And she's so smart and intelligent, empathetic, and God, I love her.
She's so likable. She's great. I love her.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
They wrote all the characters so fucking well. Like there wasn't,
even
other than like
Fontaine.
the bad guys, there wasn't a single character that was dislikable. Like usually when I watch movies, I find at least one of the protagonists like at least a little bit fucking annoying, but I didn't find any of them annoying. Like they were
Yeah,
all so well written.
yeah.
Yeah.
I even like. I'm not one for majorly stoic characters, but I really liked Fontaine in this film. Like, I thought I wasn't really gonna warm up to him because I'm. I've said this before in my own personal time, but I really am not a big fan of the strong silent type. Sometimes I find it a bit dull. I like characters like Slick Charles because they add something to the scene. I'm not a big fan of characters who are like, oh, oh,
I feel as
grumble.
though it's an excellent way to sort of have a lens into the environment without being too intrusive of your own character. Now, in the second half of the film, I think Fontaine does have a little bit more of an emotional and political edge to him, which is very
Does.
nice. I think that they did it well. First half of the movie, introduction Fontaine. Not much else going on aside from scene introduction, action, uh, and environmental presence creation. Um, Aside from that, they did an excellent job in the first half. Second half, Fontaine also excellent job. I think that he should have probably spoken a little bit more, but he got a lot of lines. Well, not a lot of lines, but a fair few lines in the second half. I still think they used him as a bit of a camera lens, though, especially in that scene with the doc, who
Yeah.
was Fontaine, which is that's spoiler by the way.
I
But if
mean,
you made
spoiler
it
barriers
this
down.
far,
Yeah.
like we already had a little bit of a, you know,
Spoiler alert, Fontaine is a clone, and the person he's cloned from is like full on Candace Owens, Clarence Thomas Browning this shit, being
like
like, look man,
are
I've
racist,
suffered. I've
like
suffered by racists, so
racist.
I've joined the sides of the racists.
I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
it
I
it really didn't make sense.
well,
No, it
okay,
makes sense.
I gotta be honest. Looking at it
Okay.
from as a woman and as an LGBT member, I could sort of understand like the minority moving to like help the other side because like he just wanted like his brother and
Yeah.
like I can understand that like if it was me I probably
It's like
wouldn't, but I could also see myself doing that.
yeah, but
Okay,
it's like that one person that, just before we get to that, Chris,
It's
it's
like
just
you
like that
live
one
long
person
enough
Kyra
to
and
see
I
yourself become the villain.
It's like Kyra and I overheard like one student when we were sitting on a class being
Oh
like,
my
"Yeah, I'm
god.
I'm queer, but like I don't support that non-binary stuff."
No, it was
Um,
basically them saying like I'm part of the queer community, but I don't think that we need all this representation shoved down our throats in like media. And I'm like, I mean, they're literally just like normalizing the fact that we exist.
yeah, but Chris, you were gonna say something?
okay. There's so many chances in an environment to have your ideas challenged and contested that if you aren't surrounded by people who are sort of echo chambering you, I think that it's improbable that you want to do eugenics upon yourself. Um, just as a baseline, I don't know. It's possible if you're echo chambered into that, but
I mean, I'll posit something here since I'll posit something here. Yeah, no, Mike's hissing because it's crickets. I understand that.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I was wondering what the
but like,
noise was. I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah, it's just cricket.
I have
Like,
noise suppression on, so I'm sorry about
It's
that.
whenever you're talking is all, but it's fine.
no, it's cool. But like, the
I just wasn't
reason
sure if it was just a me issue.
before I sort of explain the rationale of evil, actually, I don't think we ever get his name. He's just the original.
It's
Cameron,
Fontaine.
what
It's
did you?
old
It's
Fontaine.
Fontaine.
Fontaine
Old Fontaine.
1.0.
Yeah, Old Fontaine, right? Cameron, what did you think about Old Fontaine?
Um, I found it really funny that he did the full villain monologue exposition thing.
You caught me
Um,
monologuing.
yeah, I don't like the fact that
I mean, I guess
okay, it makes no sense to me. His
you'll
his
love
ideology makes no sense to me, but the same way that Candace Owen doesn't make sense to me. Um, oh, so your little brother was the victim of police brutality and racism in America. So you're going to turn everyone into the exact same. You're gonna
you're whitewash.
create a eugenics program
You're going to commit eugenics upon yourself,
to
my brother in Christ.
to establish like peace across America.
Well,
What?
I'll explain it from what I gathered from the film as someone who like either listens to Warhammer podcasts or politics podcasts. He's basically a big stand-in for people like Clarence Thomas and people like Candace Owens
Yeah,
who
no, I get that. It was just like it, it makes sense as a villain. I will never understand that ideology
Don't
yeah,
think
because it makes no fucking sense.
I
well,
think if you get lost in the source enough, maybe you can become Alex Owens, but Candace Owens, but I
Alex Owens.
Alex Owens.
Oh shit. Uh-oh.
Return the
Alex
friggin'
Jones and
front.
Candace Owens are crossing the streams.
Oh no,
Is
I've
Alex's
already
like
lost my
is
sauce.
Alex's like evil doppelganger.
No. But no, I kind of
Uh,
as someone who used to be sort of afraid of my own queerness, and I'll take Kaya's angle from this because there are three queer people in this call, and we have Chris, and you know he's a gym bro, so
what
that's
man? What the fuck did I do?
you didn't do anything. I'm just saying we should add an additional G onto LGBTQ so that way we can account for gym bros. I'm just saying, guys stare at muscly men all day. That's a bit gay. It's fine, but like. I do admit I kind of I'm with Cameron. It's a horrible ideology, but I liked that the film didn't immediately go to like because one thing that I think with satire can be a little bit damaging is just turning all of your political opponents into the soy face Wojak because to use internet
Sorry.
slang. Because when you do that, it doesn't necessarily remove the teeth from it. It just sort of makes it seem less dangerous than it actually is. But there is a bit of an epidemic of POC, of queer people, of any sort of marginalized people siding with the oppressor because they simply just under the
Pick
weight
me.
of yeah, it's pick me, but it also is like under the weight of their own oppression, they have simply just embraced doomerism and gone, well, it's better to simply just fit into their standards than fight, right? And the whole point of the film is that the only way we're gonna break out of this sort of conditioning is, you know, by ourselves, and it can be applied to multiple different communities, but of course, it's focused on POC in America. Well, I did see some people who are Native American who are like, this film, rocks. Like, we're the exact same, and
It helps with the oppressed.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have another friend called Tappy, and when I posted on, and she's also POC, when I posted on my Instagram that like I was watching it, she messaged me, she's like, yes, 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 this movie's amazing.
It is such a it's such a cry for like, we just gotta break out of ourselves. And I liked the fact that old Fontaine, or the original, is like, they don't simply make him out to be like some caricature, just like how they didn't make out Fontaine to be like how Fontaine and Slick Charles are meant to be caricatures of the pimp, of the drug dealer, but are then, through empathy and through an interesting lens, are given depth. Um, they they did decide to at least engage with why people are like this. And I thought it was interesting because I sort of had similar experiences when I used to be a little bit of like a little bigot bisexual, where I was like, I'd seen people around me uh be like affected by being open about their queerness, and my uncle Bruce was a shit person, and he was really gay, and he like, he was really gay, and it affected me. So I at least I was very interested in how, I just liked this whole movie. Oh, I'm rambling. It's
Yeah,
such a
so
good
like I can
film.
understand the motivations, but like the ideology itself is kind of fucking weird. It's a bit
Yeah,
weird,
it's
champ, if
fucking
you ask
weird.
me, but like I
It's
can
just a bit
understand the
weird, champ.
motivations.
Owen's ass looking.
Did you just say weird champ?
Yes.
I'm
Did
quitting
you
the
just say
fucking
weird?
podcast.
No.
Did you just say weird, champ, in response to racism?
Look, man, if you ask me, racism kind of weird.
How many Twitch
I
streams do you watch?
Oh my god, but
I I watch the YouTube videos that they make out of the VODs, the summaries. Leave me
but
alone.
Kaya, do you want to nut over the lighting real quick?
My god, the fucking
Alright,
lighting.
alright.
Oh my
This
god.
is your time to shine. Here you go.
Look,
Your
man,
time to
I
shine.
don't know, like, just the entire cinematography as a whole was so fucking amazing. The fact that the entire movie was grainy to make it look like an old movie, and like in reference to
And
what you were saying
they
earlier,
gave it
Alex, about like was it blaxploitation?
Blaxploitation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and just, oh my god, lighting was so fucking cool, man. Like the way that like the underground labs, it was all very cool toned and very white lit. Um, to sort of like that clinical feel, but then when you're out in the open, everything is so much more warm toned. Even like inside and at night, everything has that warm, um, like tone to it. And like, bro, the fucking
Mhm.
like the neon lighting in the club is, bro. Oh my god, the
Oh
color
god, fucking neon lights.
combinations, amazing. I fucking loved it. I
Yeah, and I loved how Slick Charles was just so color, like every
he's
single one of his suits.
he's
When
so
he's
he's
when he's
so queer coded, and for what?
He's so Saul Goodman coded.
Oh my god. Look, one thing I loved about Slick Charles is who I'm giving the cookie to, and I'm giving him chocolate and mint chip, right? Because they referenced that in the film. They said that when they were down there, they were like, "This isn't vanilla, this is chocolate mint chip." So I was like, "Fine then, you get the chocolate mint chip, Slick Charles, for uncovering
like
something." But I
like those
love,
like those Arnott's like mint slices.
yeah, like the Arnott's mint slices. I
Oh.
feel like that's
I
something.
actually wrote this down. They wouldn't have gotten anywhere in the mystery if it wasn't for Charles's cocaine addiction. I'm not joking.
Oh my god, you're right.
Because
Yeah,
he did the flavoring of the chicken in the lab,
Yeah, yeah,
and then he
you're right.
recognized it.
yeah.
So they wouldn't have gotten anywhere if it weren't for his fucking cocaine addiction.
See, it's funny because that lab scene and the following stuff actually had a lot of comments from the director. The first thing that I picked up on was, it was like obviously a reference to the CIA Contra deal to like push cocaine into black communities. Um, Shockingly, the boys covered that. So,
Really?
and yeah, the boys had that as like a reference in
Oh,
their show
we
because they
have
were like,
Alex's The Boys agenda.
oh yeah, the boys, sorry. I'm anti-Homelander, don't worry, I'm one of the only Good Boys fans. Um,
Oh.
but then also, two things to note. One, the reason why they had that whole stuff in the chicken thing is because Jewel Taylor himself mentioned that he felt uncomfortable eating fried chicken around, like, white people. And he was like, what if I make a sci-fi plot just exclusively about that and added that to the film? As to be like, well, why do I feel uncomfortable eating chicken around white people? The second thing is, and this is what I found funny, and I didn't notice till someone pointed it out. You know how like all the white people there are pointed out having like a weird afro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're oh man, okay, you
Cultural
all noticed it and I
appropriation.
didn't. No, they're all the people that they were testing the whole changing into white people thing on.
Wait,
They were the
huh?
white people,
They were,
genetically
they were,
white.
remember how he said that we've gotten the process down, it's just the hair that's tough to get out?
Yeah.
I don't
All these
understand.
places. Okay, so you know how when
Okay,
they went down
so
there, the white guy had an afro, right?
Yes.
Says one is cultural appropriation. Do you have something to mention, Chris?
okay, so basically, in the last scene with the doc, he says that there's 587 genes that are basically keeping them apart. What he's basically saying is that these are the genes we need to remove to make white people.
Oh, but they're
As
getting rid of like the melanin and
Yeah.
shit?
Yeah.
That
yes,
completely
and
went over
this-
my fucking head, man. I'll be honest,
This
man.
If
I
you
was
were
struggling
mega
to stay
eugen-
awake at the end of it, man.
This is why I
I
was
was
like,
very sick and out
okay,
of it on Thursday. I shouldn't have watched it, but I didn't think I'd
yeah,
have any other time.
so there's
this is
about
what
it's
made.
mega.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, it's just mega eugenics. That person was a
They
POC.
were black and then they turned them white, Michael Jackson style, like how they mentioned Michael Jackson at the
Oh
beginning of the
shit, you're
film.
right. I
Almost
was
part of
wondering why they mentioned Michael Jackson. I was wondering. Like, I was sitting there like, oh, yeah, okay, Michael Jackson, okay, yeah, okay. Random reference, but sure. Oh my fucking god. Wait,
Yeah, no, no.
I've had a
Oh,
revelation.
fuck.
I feel like my eyes have been opened.
You've been Clockwork Orange, like that one
Like
woman.
that
who was
one
in the-
girl.
Actually, another fun fact: she was in that opening scene in the film.
There was something
She
I
was
was
in
gonna
there,
say,
and
and
then
now I
you
don't remember what it was.
I'll give you some
For
time. But what were
me,
you gonna say, Cameron?
um, there was a few things.
Go
Um,
ahead.
Oh, I
but
remember.
first off, the whole thing of like that's what always confused. That's why I was so confused about the original Fontaine's like ideology because it's like, okay, so you're going to so because your little brother died to police brutality, you're then going to create a white America. Like you're going full white
Yeah.
Australia policy style, but this time with the CIA involved. Like what's going on there?
Hmm.
Like, huh? How does that make any sense? What are the
It's
mental
giving.
gymnastics?
It's giving like stolen generation sort of shit, you know?
Yeah, which I find
Like
like
what I specifically
ugh.
remember learning history that one of like this is a direct quote from the textbook was that their plan was to breed them out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that line and it stuck with me. I'm like, what the fuck? This is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Um
fucked up. And
the other
Stating the, not to state
considering
the
white people,
obvious, but
considering that
like
considering that like white
racism kind of
supremacist
fucked
society,
up.
considering the fact that white supremacist society is obsessed with the one drop rule, it wouldn't be great for those like people while they're attempting to breed them out because it's like, well, if you've got like one drop of non-white blood, white in very quotation marks, because white isn't real. It's like, oh god, but yeah, what was another thing, Cameron?
um I mean I was this is very similar linking back to the whole lighting thing regarding aesthetics and stuff. I couldn't tell what year, like what decade this movie was set in. I got whiplash when Yo-Yo mentioned blockchain.
I got
That's how
whiplash.
well.
No, I got whiplash when 9/11 was mentioned because I thought this was set in like the 90s. I
Yeah.
was like,
Got
hey,
No,
wait
no,
a
no.
whiplash
minute.
when I saw a picture of Obama and the
Yeah. When he mentioned Obama, I'm like, hey, wait a fucking minute.
yeah, no. So that happened like just in, it's like Charles's introduction scene, and that I was like, wait, this isn't set in like the 90s or like the 80s, the 70s, 80s, 90s. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it is set
It
in. They registered Bitcoin.
Yeah, they nailed the aesthetics of everything so well that I could not tell. And it's even down to the detail of the phone that
Yeah, the
what's
fact
his
they use
name?
like
The guy
flip
with the guy
phones.
with the broken leg, the guy with his broken leg the entire movie.
Yeah, the fact that he used like a
Um
flip phone.
yeah, that was like, oh shit, okay, so this is set in the 90s. It's set in the 90s ghetto of America. Awesome. Yeah, so this is a common setting in terms of talking about blaxploitation. And then Yo-Yo mentions Bitcoin, and I'm like, hang on, what the fuck? That wasn't around in the 90s. Hello?
Okay, wait a minute. It was so
It
well
was like,
done.
yeah, it really got to me. The last thing that I had was that it just the fact that when the when they went down to the first lab, right? The fact that the music playing, the fact that the music that was playing there was "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough."
Hmm.
Oh, I could talk about the soundtrack for so.
Oh yeah, that's what I. There were two things I wanted to bring up. First of all, was when Alex you mentioned like the how the director felt like uncomfortable like eating chicken. Was it?
Around white people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, fried chicken.
yeah, because like the obvious like the stereotype that black people love fried chicken,
All I could
and
think
stuff
about is the
like.
fucking.
And when I was looking at when they had like the ad for the place, um, the guy who's doing the ad, it's very like he's sort of doing like a black accent.
Mm,
It's a white
Yeah.
guy doing the ad, but he's imitating a black accent, and I'm like,
yeah.
huh? Because like the way he said like goddamn and stuff, I'm like, this is a bit weird.
Mm, yeah.
And like
See.
I like immediately I'm like, ah, I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing. I see
Mm.
See,
through you.
whenever someone does like that, like really bad black accent voice, all I hear is the fucking Chester Stone videos.
Oh yeah, Chester Stone. The
Oh my god, like the guy who sounds exactly like Jake the dog. And I'm like, I can't get it out of my head because the way that he says goddamn, it sounds almost the exact same. Like, ah. um,
But yeah, the other
the
thing
like,
I oh sorry, you go.
sorry, go ahead. Go, no, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna segue into the fucking soundtrack.
Oh my god, okay.
I was oh my god, amazing.
Everything in this
Peak.
movie was intentional.
God,
apparently
soundtrack was
is a
amazing.
scene where Jamie Foxx and Tona Paris were singing together. Apparently they have like a dozen takes of them and all of them are different and it was entirely improv.
I need to
Oh
see
my
that. I need to
god,
see
I
the other
need to see
takes.
these.
Chris, you haven't spoken for a bit.
Please.
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
Something, I don't know.
Um,
I wanted to give you room to speak if you wanted to say something.
The music was good. That's pretty much it, man. I said you go.
Chris has had a very tired day. He's
Fair
allowed to
enough.
have a little bit of a sit out and just let us
I,
ramble.
st- I still can't believe the tagline for this movie on its advertising was just damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But yeah, the the soundtrack was so good.
Impeccable.
Um, the song at the end, they actually had the singer that they got the singer to come back and to sing they somebody called Tyrone, but they were like, yeah, could you just sing it again into the mic, but just like say clone Tyrone. Like could you just do, and they paid her fully just for that. And I'm like, oh,
Honestly though, the detail that went into this movie was incredible. I also wanted to bring up just it's very, very random, and this is just purely a me thing. I don't think there's any actual meaning behind it. But the um the bodyguard who
Chester.
is
Chester Stone.
who's there for like 5 minutes. Um, I'm just using this as a way for me to better understand like his character. He really reminded me and Cameron, you'll I don't know how you feel about this, but like he reminded me of Luther from Detroit Become Human a bit, like
Oh
in...
my fucking god!
well,
Don't
like
bring that. Don't bring that into this house.
well, okay, so
That's
basically, like
sin of a story.
basically, hey, Kara's chapter is decent. Um, basically, like the whole thing with Luther was that he was a deviant and then he was reset and then he like was following orders and stuff again and then he broke free and I sort of wanted that with the what's his name is his name
Chester.
Chester?
It's his name is Chester.
Yeah, I sort of wanted that with Chester. I wanted to actually see him like speak for himself instead of just like do what Fontaine said at the end and then just we never see him again. I sort of wanted like at least just a tiny bit more with him.
Yeah. I
But,
mean,
but that's just
again,
me.
yeah. This I just and then sorry, I'm just gonna transition to something completely else. Sorry, I'm word vomiting.
Segue.
Segue. Segment here. Hello. Hi. The fact that oh my god, Space Jam. Sorry, the fact that Jewel Taylor has gone from okay, so he went from Creed 2 to like he was a writer on Creed 2, which is kind of where like his writing really got like big. It was the first big film that he did. Um, and then he goes from Creed 2, doesn't do anything for 3 years. He writes the screenplay and story of Space Jam 2: A New Legacy, which is complete dog shit, and then comes back with fucking They Cloned Tyrone. What? And he worked on Rise of the fucking Beasts.
Yeah, I thought this was the guy who did Rise of the Beasts.
What in the actual fuck is this man's career?
He's an icon.
Peak.
He's an icon. He is peak.
I hope he directs again. I really hope he
I
directs
remember
again.
when we were in VC first making the list. Actually, no, I think it was after we recorded Nope, and we were just looking at like random movies and who was like the directors and stuff. And we looked at him, and we saw that it said Transformers: Rise of the Beast, and we were like, what?
Look,
I'm looking at his stuff on IMDb. He seems to be a bit of a sound guy, which makes
He
sense
is a
as to why
soundie.
he's a soundie, which makes sense as to why the soundtrack slapped and he put in all those little sound bits like the
Honestly,
baseline Morse code.
our soundies
Mhm.
need more respect in the industry. Like, literally, in
Hey,
my
we need more soundies, full
film
stop.
crews, like whenever we have to get into groups to like decide who will have what roles and stuff, the last things that are picked is always the audio people. Like, it's always the sound editor, it's always the sound recordist, it's always the audio director and the audio assistant. They are always the ones who are last.
Hmm.
also
Yeah.
They need
can I
more
just say,
respect and love in the industry, honestly, for the work that they do.
I'm gonna say fuck you to the sound just for a moment because that's what the industry standard is. The fact that almost barely any visual effects were used in this movie,
Mm.
like I found one hiccup, one, and that's purely because we've essentially all been trained to see that stuff.
Which scene was it again?
It was when they were taking the first Fontaine who got shot at the very beginning of the movie. It's when they were taking him um off the street in broad daylight.
Mm.
That car wasn't actually there.
Really?
The shadow on the car and the actual elevation and angle of the car was all wrong.
Ah. I think if
And
I
that's something
rewatch
that
it, I would
only us
definitely
would
notice. But
Probably now that
I
you've
was
pointed that
high
out,
out
I'd
of
probably notice
nah,
too.
bro. I was high out of my mind on medicine, man. I had literally
Watch the-
just taken
It's
like
in the trailer.
sleepy, drowsy like meds, and then sat down to watch this, which was probably a bad idea. But yeah. So
And yeah, the fact that the stuff that they did do, I only saw one hiccup the entire time. Was incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
Even
Honestly,
the
slay.
even the bullet wound that we see on Fontaine's shoulder,
Mm,
that like I could not tell if that was visual effects or prosthetics.
it was definitely prosthetics.
Yeah, they didn't really have much of a budget for like extras. During the nightclub scene,
That was all
a-
people
a-
who were on set, right?
Yeah.
fun.
That was all the people who were just on set, right?
Well, because it was filmed during the pandemic, they were expecting to
It
have like upwards
was?
of 200 people for this strip club, right? But it was the pandemic. They had 60, so they actually had to. They had like every one of the extras they had in that scene had 3 sets of clothes, and they shot at a variety of different angles to make it seem like the nightclub was more filled than it actually was.
That's amazing,
So
honestly.
with
That's
every
that's
with every shot
dedication.
they like changed out the clothes of the people. So that
That's
way it
really
seemed like there were
funny.
way more people in the shot than there actually were.
I didn't realize it was from like obviously not 2020, but like 21.
I think so, yeah. They
Damn.
clearly spent their time in post production.
Yeah.
Hooking. But also with the sheer amount of haircuts that John Boyega had to do for this film, I'm just saying it probably took bro was in like 6 different haircuts in one film.
Look, look, he didn't get the Killmonger, so we're fine.
Yeah. I guess closing out,
We need to do
I'm
our
gonna sing an
cookies.
ode. It's a good thing. Cookie. Um, let's go with Chris. What cookie are you giving Frog?
Did Schlatt make cookies at any point? I remember he did ice cream.
You gonna give him
Alcoholic,
an ice cream cookie?
Fireball cookie it is.
alcoholic, deranged ramblers. Yeah, I can see it.
No,
Wait,
he seems like the kind of
wait,
guy who would really enjoy like an ice cream cookie.
Yeah, like an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, ice cream sandwich. Ice cream sandwich.
Oh no, I
fireball
thought of
cookie.
even better one for Slick Charles. Hold on.
Ain't no way you just said ain't no way you're basing this off of a Schlatt ranking.
Yeah, I fucking am. Of course I am.
Look, man, he's tired. Give him a break.
You said I'm a
Look, man, I
sleepy
love
guy.
Jay Schlatt as much as the next Chronically Online bitch, but like,
Oh,
goddamn.
no, no, I am superior. I love him.
Damn.
Okay.
Alright.
I love how this is how I fucking end up for the night.
Cameron, what are you going to what are you gonna give a cookie to?
This is purely on appearance because I couldn't think of anything in the short amount of time span between finishing the movie and recording. Other than I'm gonna give Yo-Yo a macaron because they look like yo-yos. I that's it. I'm serious.
That's
Fair
fair.
enough.
They do.
Kyle, what are you gonna pick?
I'm also doing Yo-Yo. And you know, I'm giving her
You
like,
tell me that's not a yo-yo.
huh?
You tell me that's not a yo-yo.
I'm
You
giving
put some
her
string on there for Bridget cosplay.
I'm giving her a ginger snap.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't really have a reason for it. I just like, you know, ginger snaps, they're fun. I don't know, I don't really know, man.
No,
That's my
that's
answer.
fair. See, I did say something
I feel like she
earlier,
would
but
like ginger snap cookies.
I've thought of something infinitely better for Slick Charles, and I love Slick Charles. I love the fact that when he saw that he had clones, he didn't chuck a quip, he didn't do anything, he just like had a realization about his life and then was like, yeah, I let the hose like have a week off, and I've just and pimping is not what it used to be. He just had this solemn stare that just spoke to my heart, and so I'm gonna give him an Arnott's orange slice because that man loved his orange juice.
Oh,
Kept
okay.
going on about orange juice, so I was like, you know what? Arnott's orange slice biscuits. He needs it. That looks like something
I
he would have. The Arnott's orange slice thing looks like something he would have
Oh, I
in
know
his
the what
little
you're talking
motel.
about. Yeah.
I linked them. Yeah, I'm gonna buy them later. Uh,
In
I
memory of Slick
thought
Charles.
memory of Slick Charles. I fucking love Slick Charles.
I thought that the orange juice thing was a metaphor for something, but no, he was like the entire movie. And then I saw like when they were having a drink together, after the first like the main lab raid.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. No, it's just orange juice. He really fucking likes orange juice.
He just likes orange juice, man. Slick Charles is iconic. He's clad in furs like a fucking polar bear.
He is so
Oh my God,
iconic.
Jamie Foxx can do no wrong other than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, he was great in that
Hey
film.
man, that
I
wasn't
know.
his
No,
fault. That wasn't
don't,
his fault. That
no.
wasn't his fault.
He's the only reason I'd ever watch Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That was
Sorry,
not
Andrew
his
Garfield.
fault. Anyway,
Okay,
wheel time.
everyone,
Wheel
look on,
time.
look on,
Whoa,
look
wait,
on
don't
my
spin it yet.
screen.
Don't spin it yet.
I'm not.
Everyone has to
Wheel
guess what we think it's gonna
time.
be, because
Okay,
Alex
since-
predicted it last time.
Okay, we've
Oh,
had
okay.
Peak. I think we're gonna get Ocean's 8 because we've gone from Peak to Aquafina.
I think we're gonna get. I think we're gonna get probably. Now You See Me Too.
I am literally praying for Conan.
Oh yeah.
If we get
Wait,
Conan, I
what?
think we gotta. If we get Conan, I think we gotta give Chris like an allocated 20 minutes to talk about the workout of Conan the Barbarian.
I'm gonna save that for after, and
Oh.
you'll have to listen to me.
Wait. I just realized there's something on this film I forgot to ask. Chris,
Yeah.
how was Fontaine's bench press form?
I mean, it's like 120 kilos, so I'm not picky about it. But if I were to pick it apart, he really needs to retract his shoulder blades and like probably slow down the eccentric
Oh
rather than
my
just going up
God.
and down.
How did we? I was
We
like when I
forgot
watched the movie, I was
Chris's
like,
entire role as the gym bro.
Okay, listen, man. It's 120 kilos. If you're tossing that shit around, like, respect, my man.
all right, let's
I'm
spin this
gonna
wheel.
guess.
Are we
Wait,
ready?
I haven't guessed yet.
Sorry.
I'm gonna guess. Hmm. I'm thinking about it. You know what? I'm gonna guess
Evil
Lisa
wheel.
Frankenstein.
Okay.
I want to
okay.
watch Lisa Frankenstein.
Let's go. Spin that wheel.
Imagine it's like Evangelion.
Give me
That is Jujutsu
Evangelion.
Kaisen.
JJK. Oh.
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 Oh my God.
Tenacious D, the
Oh.
movie.
Oh my God. It's time for
It's
the. It's time
Tenacious
for
D.
tribute.
Okay, so everyone, if you thought that Chris was a bit too quiet and you missed him talking, don't worry, he will be yapping all of next week.
We have to watch Tenacious D.
You have to
Yeah.
watch Tenacious D.
Look, that movie's actually really good.
Oh my god, I've actually never seen it.
Next
Neither
episode
have
will
I.
be a tribute to the greatest movie in the world.
I'm trying to figure out where we can watch it.
We have it.
Can we watch it legally or can we watch it,
No.
legally?
Yeah, everything we watch is legal.
Everything we
Definitely,
watch is in
definitely,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Jack Black is earning anything more on
Yeah,
that.
it's on binge.
So, I
Oh, no,
feel
no, was it? No,
this
that's
No,
is
it's not.
sealed.
Unless they've like added it recently since I made the list, it's not.
No, it's Tenacious D. It was on there. I swear.
Yeah, it was on there, so was Evil Dead, but they removed it like bastards because streaming services hate me and me specifically. Anyway, thank you all for listening to this podcast. Please go watch They Cloned Tyrone a million times, and make sure to watch Tenacious D before the next episode.
Yeah.
See ya.
If you don't, I'm killing you.
See you in the
Huh?
cookie jar.